All right, let's get right into it. If you're a founder, you know the feeling, right? That little voice in the back of your head, that one nagging question that can absolutely make or break everything you're building. Well, in this explainer, we're handing you the playbook to shut that voice down for good. Let's do this. Let's turn that guesswork into real, solid growth. And there it is, the big one. This question, this is the startup killer. It can take you out before you even really get going. You could have the most amazing code, the slickest design, a team of geniuses. But if people don't actually want what you're making, none of that matters. But here's the really good news. You don't have to leave it up to chance. Okay, so you're basically at a fork in the road. Path number one, that's the path of chaos. It's just throwing ideas at the wall, hoping something sticks. You're burning through cash, you're wasting time. Now, path number two, that's the path of clarity. It's strategic. Every single move you make is backed by data, pushing you closer to success. One is a total gamble, the other is a blueprint. And today, we're giving you that blueprint. All right, so where do we even begin? The first thing you've got to understand is that not all your ideas, or more importantly, your assumptions, are created equal. Somewhere in your business plan, there's a hidden landmine, one single assumption that if it's wrong, blows the whole thing up. Our job right now is to find that landmine. And how do we find it? With this beautiful, simple little formula called the risk score. It's just two things multiplied together, criticality times uncertainty. Think of criticality as the so what factor. Like, if this assumption is wrong, does my whole business fall apart? If yes, that's super high criticality. And uncertainty is the how sure are you factor. Do you have cold hard data, or is this just a gut feeling? Seriously, this simple bit of math is your compass when you're lost in the fog. Okay, and this is where it all comes together. This matrix takes that vague gut feeling and turns it into a dead simple action plan. Look at this. If you get a high score, say somewhere between 16 and 25, that's a code red 5-alarm fire. You drop everything and you test that assumption right now. A low score, you can deal with that later. Or maybe you don't even need to. See? This is how you stop chasing every new idea and start focusing on the stuff that could actually kill your business. Let's make this super practical. Imagine your big assumption is, people will pay $9 a month for my app. Okay, first question, how critical is that to your business? Well, if you have no other revenue, it's a 5 out of 5 for sure. Now, how certain are you that it's true? If you've never actually asked anyone for money, that's a 5 out of 5 on uncertainty. So what's 5 times 5? 25. That matrix is basically screaming at you, this is it. This is your highest priority. Go test this now. So, now you know what you need to test. The next obvious question is, how do you test it? You wouldn't use a sledgehammer to hang a picture frame, right? It's about having the right tool for the job. And in this case, the right experiment totally depends on what stage your startup is in. Let's start right at the beginning. Stage 1 is all about problem-solution fit. And listen, before you even think about writing a single line of code, your one and only job is to prove that the problem you think you're solving is actually a real, painful, and common problem for people. Your tools for this are super simple. Just talk to people, do interviews, send out some surveys, maybe sketch out a really rough prototype. Okay, but how do you know if you're on the right track? Here's your target. Your magic number. After you've done, say, 10 to 15 interviews, if more than 70% of those people confirm, yes, I absolutely have that problem, then you've got something. You've found a real signal in the noise. You've earned the right to go to the next step. But if you don't hit that number, it's time to pause and rethink things. All right, you've validated the problem. Awesome. Now comes stage 2, product market fit. This is where you have to prove that your specific product is the right solution to that problem. And now your tools get a little more sophisticated. We're talking about an MVP, a minimum viable product. That's a really simple, stripped-down version of your idea. Or maybe a landing page to see if people will sign up, and some more polished prototypes. And here is the ultimate, non-negotiable proof of product market fit. It's not about signups. It's about retention. It's about who stays. If more than 40% of your active users are coming back to use your product week after week, congratulations. You haven't just built a piece of software, you've built a habit. You've found your fit. And finally, we hit stage 3, business model validation. Okay, you've got a product people love. That's amazing. But can you actually build a real sustainable business around it?
This is where your experiments get down to business, literally. We're talking pricing tests, figuring out your customer acquisition channels, and making sure that business model is looking healthy.
And this right here, this is the golden rule. It's a simple ratio. Your lifetime value, or LTV, that's the total amount of money you'll make from one customer, needs to be at least 3 times bigger than your customer acquisition cost, or CAC. That's what you paid to get that customer. If your LTV is more than 3 times your CAC, you've got a scalable business. If it's not, you've got a leaky bucket that's just pouring money out. Okay, so we know what to test and we know how to test it. But there is one more secret ingredient, and it's maybe the most important one: speed. In the startup world, it's simple. The team that learns the fastest wins. Period. Your real competitive advantage isn't your brilliant idea. It's how fast you can go through that build, measure, learn loop. I mean, just look at this. You have a slow team over here. They run maybe 4 big, perfect, slow experiments in a year. Then you have a fast team. They run 20 smaller, good enough experiments in that same year. Who's going to win? It's not even a contest. The fast team is learning 5 times faster. That's a 5x advantage. In this game, speed is everything. And the best part is, you can start moving faster today. Just remember these 3 things. First, start small. Don't build a whole feature when a conversation will do. Second, run experiments in parallel. Why do 1 test a month when you can do 3? And third, and this is crucial, decide fast. Don't fall into the trap of just one more data point. Make a call and move. All right, we have covered a ton of ground, so let's pull it all together into a simple playbook. Think of these next few slides as the essential rules of the road for every strategic experimenter. Okay, here are your do's. Number 1, prioritize ruthlessly using that risk score. 2, always start with the smallest, cheapest, fastest experiment you can think of. 3, run tests in parallel to learn faster. And 4, please, write stuff down. Document everything. If you don't remember what you learned, it's like you never learned it at all. And now for the don'ts, the traps you have to avoid. Don't get stuck in analysis paralysis, just waiting for perfect data. Don't chase vanity metrics, stuff like social media likes that make you feel good but don't actually build your business. Fight your own confirmation bias, that little voice that only wants to hear good news. And never, ever run a random experiment without a clear hypothesis. Look, running experiments is great, but the learning itself is totally useless if it just dies in a Google Sheet somewhere. So the final piece of this puzzle is having a system to turn every single insight, whether it's a win or a failure, into actual concrete action. And this is your secret weapon for that. It's called a learning backlog. It's just a simple table, but think of it as the brain of your entire strategy. Every time an experiment ends, you fill it in. What did we learn? What are we going to do about it? And what's next? This is how learning stops being an academic exercise and becomes your actual roadmap. And it all boils down to this simple 3-step loop that you run over and over. 1, what did we just learn? 2, so what? How does this change our plans? And 3, okay, what's the next big question we need to answer? That's it. This simple little loop guarantees you're always moving forward, always getting smarter. So, I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Not for next quarter, not even for next month, for this week. I want you to take that risk score formula and figure it out. What is the single biggest, scariest, most unproven assumption in your entire business? Find it, and then go test it, because that right there is the fastest path from guesswork to growth. Thanks for joining us.